A couple of dear friends come join us for the presentation tonight. Orthman's sitting right next to Carl, who will present tonight, Coptic minister and part of the board of directors for many years, and also the ministerial training program within the Coptic Fellowship. Carl Franklin holds a master's degree in theology and psychology. He has been a spiritual metaphysical researcher for over 50 years, and during that time, over half a century now, he has gained insight of both the inner and outer world of the self and the planets by utilizing meditation, channeling, along with the study of astrophysics as well, quantum physics, the Urantia book, and the Bible. He authored the book Earth's Ascension, Nibiru, and the Spirit Realm, and is an international speaker and intuitive life script reader. He also has webinar classes of the Mystery School and on Ascension with his wife, Ortrun, and Denise Francisco as well. A surprise is his topic tonight.
Our soul is indeed the presence of the divine creator within us. One of the primary functions of the soul is it is the source of our life force energy. The life force energy is created by the creator of the universe, and our soul being a fragment of that creator that dwells within us, the life force energy is sent, I don't want to say directly, it comes through higher aspects of our soul, but it enters through our soul. And then it is shared and experienced and expressed with our physical body. You've heard me say before that we are complex, multidimensional beings. All of us have a physical body made out of earth material. We all have a mental body with its thoughts. We all have an emotional body with its feelings. And we all have a soul body. And the physical body is the one that houses these non-physical aspects of ourself. Our mind is not physical. Our feelings are not physical. Our soul is not physical. But through the physical body, they can fully experience and express in this physical environment. And when we die, it's the physical body that dies. It's the only part of us that's temporary. The emotional body, the mental body, and the soul body are eternal. And after we die, we have the same soul and the same mental and emotional body are attached to it and vehicles through whom it still expresses. Plus, it will develop a fourth dimensional body that we get expressed through in the astral plane or the heavenly realm. So, in this lifetime, we have a couple of, I'm going to call them built-in conflicts or opposites. We have light and we have darkness, but we also have an ego body that comes out of our mind primarily, and we also have a soul mind that is coming out of our soul. And at any given moment, we're focused or working out of one of those two minds. And for most of us, because we have these five senses that are all focused outward, and they dominate our conscious mind, and they dominate our ego. Okay, our five senses are focused outward. The mind of our soul is focused inward. But we're here to have a physical experience. So most of the time, our mind is focused on this world, on things that are going around us, on things that are going on within our community, our nation, our world, and within our human experience. And yes, that is probably the way that it is supposed to be. But I'm going to suggest that you look at the balance in your life. how much of your time, how much of your attention, how much of your energy do you spend following your ego mind? And how much of your time do you spend communicating with, following the guidance of your soul mind? And this may be a new concept for some of you, but I want to suggest that we begin making it a point in our life to structure regular communication with our soul. As Ortrin said in the reading here from Hamid, she said that, now I'm drawing a blank. Our soul mind has a universal consciousness about it, all right? And our ego mind is focused right here and now, basically, and maybe projecting a little bit into our physical future. But in terms of going beyond that, the ego mind doesn't function. But our soul mind has a universal consciousness of what is happening not only on the physical earth level, but what is happening in the spirit level. And through our soul, we can communicate with the angels. We can communicate with higher aspects of our soul. We can communicate with higher dimensional space beings. We can become a universal being through communication with our soul. And I really suggest that that is a next major step in our spiritual evolvement for many of us who would consider ourselves to be a light worker. So talk to your soul. Listen to your soul. How do you do that? Well, that's a good question. The soul works primarily through our subconscious mind. The conscious mind is too busy dealing with all of the things that are coming in constantly through our five senses. So to communicate with the soul, we need to go into a contemplative, meditative state. And because the soul is not physical, it's a part of the spirit realm, it is governed by the law of non-interference. It can't just blurt into your life and take over or do something, but rather it has to sit back and wait for you to ask. If you ask, they're not interfering. If you ask, they're doing then what you have requested that they in fact do. And to make that request and to communicate with your soul and to ask questions and to heal yourself and to send healing energy to others and to send energy to help solve not only the problems in your life, your community, your family, but in your world, work with your soul. Your soul, again, it's the divine presence. And Jesus merged his consciousness with the consciousness of his soul. And he expressed that by saying, "My Father and I are one." He also expressed it when he said, "I'm not the one performing these works, these miracles. It's the Father through me." And yes, our soul can work through our physical body. And in fact, it's hard to imagine anything that it would desire to more than to become one consciousness with you and express through your words and your actions. And can you imagine the good that your soul and you can do working as one? Our physical bodies with our physical egos are focused and limited. Our soul is not. Again, a universal consciousness. Our soul is almost as old as the entire creation. All right? which means 14 billion years of experience, working in a multitude of different dimensions, realms, frequencies, etc. Can you imagine the wisdom that it has acquired? And can you imagine the contacts it has made throughout the universe? And through our soul and our working with it and our asking, this can all become available to you and to me. Wow. You talk about the potential that each one of us has, working in partnership with our soul. There's no way that any of us can even imagine what we are capable of. It's time to stop ignoring the soul. And I want to share, this is a personal opinion. I think the original sin is ignoring the divinity that exists within us. As long as we ignore it, we're separate. But when we begin to acknowledge it and ask for its help and open ourselves up so that it can speak and act through us, miracles will become the norm. And as we move into the higher level of the fifth dimension, that will be a normal way of living. And by us doing it now, while the earth is still in the third, fourth, and fifth dimension, we're going to be a tremendous teacher for others as to what our human potential is and how it can be utilized and how it can be expressed and the effects that it can have. Take time on a regular basis to develop a deep and an abiding relationship and channel of communication and a channel of energy with your soul. It will not only transform your life, it will greatly impact the people around you and that know you. And when they can see what you are now doing, not out of ego, but out of desire to express love, out of their desire to be helpful, they're going to be asking you questions because they're going to want to be able to do that too. And this is an important way in which the whole planetary ascension process is going to unfold. It's not going to unfold very well or very fast if we're not working with our soul and allowing our soul to work through us. And isn't that why we're all here? Wouldn't that allow us to fulfill our reasons for being here in this lifetime? It's a win-win-win situation with no downside. So please, in your meditation, as you're falling asleep at night, as you're waking up in the morning, begin it and end it and use it during the middle of the day. Become one with your soul. Let it experience and express through you. Let it empower you. Let it inform you. Let it help you evolve and grow at a fantastic rate of speed. What are we waiting for? Let's go out and do it. Now, just a quick comment. The title of this talk was a surprise because I never know what I'm to talk about until that time is there. So when I'm told, it's a surprise to me. And so I'm sharing the surprise with you. All right. So I love you all. I bless you all. You are all fantastic people. I applaud you for being on this beautiful, positive path of spiritual metaphysics. And let's play well together. Peace all. Blessings. Thank you.
Blessings and peace to you, Carl, and much love. You talked about the soul mind and dealing with more of the subconscious. Does that fall into the superconscious mind as well when you tap into the soul?
Yes, I kind of lump conscious and subconscious, and in the subconscious is the superconscious. So good point.
I was wondering about that. The different aspects of ourselves, our soul, our different bodies we have. Is there any challenges when we get back over to the other side that we have? Obviously, it's not as dense as the third, fourth, and on the fringe of the fifth dimension like we're experiencing right now. But when we go back to the other side, they say you go to the classroom yet. I think through you've shared that with me or other people along the path. How is that?
Well, I think that we are an individual aspect of God because we have a soul. And I think the Creator within us is always wanting to improve or help us develop our abilities. All right. And most light workers, in my experience, we've descended from higher levels of energy, higher levels of consciousness. And a part of our growth pattern now is to begin remembering. And our soul has been with us for how many lifetimes? Probably all of them. All right. And even when we're functioning on the 10th or 11th dimensions and all of the dimensions in between. So the soul has all of that information and ability stored. And by learning to communicate and work with our soul, that will help us remember, all right? And in remembering, it's going to bring back abilities that we had in higher dimensions that we can now use in this dimension. Okay? Does that speak to that?
I think so, yeah. With the different dimensions, when we go back to the other side and fully remember who we are, we're still in a training ground within these dimensions is part of my question.
Yes.
You answered a lot.
And I think the reason for that, I'm going to get really in a big a scope here now of thought. Our Creator, and I'm quoting the Urantia book, our Creator is created out of the energy and consciousness of Father God and Son God. And our Creator is predominantly Son, not more so than Father. And that's S-O-N, okay?
Or S-U-N.
No, S-O-N.
Okay.
Okay, Father and Son.
Okay.
And I think that makes our Creator a little more adventuresome, if you will, and more curious. And our Creator created the universe based on the premise that He wanted to experience and learn everything. And thus we have a universe of duality. Most other universes do not have duality. All right. So things go a lot smoother, but here the emphasis is on experience, learning, and growth. And I think that is an underlying foundation of the universe and of all that happens in the universe, because that's the Creator is experiencing and learning through our experiences and the experiences of everything and everyone in the universe. And it is structured in a way that we have an individualized soul, which is an aspect of the Creator. But everything that has physical form in this planet and throughout the universe, there is a spiritual foundation, which in all cases is a microcosm of divine consciousness. So the Creator is learning from everything, everyone in the entire universe. Can you imagine the Creator's rate of growth? Whoa, baby.
Yes. Oh.
So yes, wherever we are, whatever we're doing, one of the intents is to learn and to grow.
Thank you for expanding on that too, very much so. Let's open up to everybody who might have questions for Carl tonight on his topic and anything else.
I just checked in. I'm just happy to see everyone again.
Welcome.
Thank you, Carl.
Thank you.
I don't know who that was. Who
Not
checked
sure either.
in?
Carrie Anya.
Oh, hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful. Thank you. It's nice hearing your voice.
It looks like you guys are doing very well.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
We are. Thank you.
You look happy and good energy and all that good stuff.
Thank you.
Anything else here?
Well, Carl, you said something about in our universe, it is this way. Are you saying that there are other creators of the other universes, or I thought that our God, that we're all a part of our God, and if our God is our creator,
Our
is it
God.
just for our universe? Or I thought there is only one God, and this one God created everything that exists, whether it's our universe or other universes.
I'm drawing on the Urantia book again. There are currently about 683,000 universes that make up the third creation. Each universe was created and is overseen by a creator son of God. Now, when we read, because most people, it used to be God was a tribal God, then St. Paul helped God to become a planetary God, and now science is moving us into a universal God, all right? And in reality, there is a God who created these 687 or 687,000 creator sons, all right, in the first creation. So, but normally when we refer to God, we're referring to the creator of our universe, okay? And that's the level of consciousness that I think humanity is at this point. At some point in the future, when they learn about creations 2 and creation 1, that view will be expanded yet. Okay. It's beyond our human ability to comprehend.
Right. It is beyond my comprehension at this point in time.
You're not alone, trust me.
Well, what it does is pushes the envelope of our beliefs, which are based on what we have been told and everything. Yeah. So I pay attention, and it's interesting that your talk was about the soul, and I have reached back and I'm rereading Reinventing the Body, Resurrecting the Soul by Deepak Chopra, written in 2009. It talks about that very thing, about how close our soul is to us if we could just touch into it, if we could just, for a minute, for a second, and realize that, how much easier then it would be to do that more and more. So thank you, Carl. That was real confirmation that I'm investigating the right stuff.
Well, thanks for sharing that.
And that's also really what Jesus was trying to convey to the masses, is that tapping within. Because how long has it been that we saw God, or however you want to express God, outside? And it was always, it was the old big man. I remember it was Saritha. She said, I always think, when I think of God, I think of you, Carl, because you have that white hair and the beard and so on. So it's like, the old man sitting in the throne up in the sky somewhere. And really that is sort of a concept that we had at one point in time. Yeah. And to recognize, no, God is not out here, but God is in here.
He's everywhere.
Everywhere, right. But we always thought it was out here, so we had somehow reached this God. And I think one of the things that, as I was growing up in my consciousness, it was before, when you're really young, there's just no way, you pray and you're looking down because you can't even look up there to God. And then eventually you start moving your head a little more upward, and eventually it does finally come up where you're looking at God. And then eventually you start moving your hands apart a little bit, and eventually this way. And then you're really open then finally to receive that divine essence, because you're allowing it to pour in so that it can tap in and connect with that inner consciousness, the inner God. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's a process of learning that, God is within us, our soul is within us, and is part of God. Mm-hmm. But I think it is a process. I don't think most of us come with that consciousness that, we are, God's already in here. He's not out there.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But isn't God everything?
God certainly.
God is both within and without.
Definitely. But I'm just saying that probably the majority of people didn't come from that way of thinking from the time they're a little child.
No.
So it's something you learn, and as you open yourself up and allow to.
Well, I think one thing that we need to come to grips with is Christianity, as it's been presented to us, is a third dimensional religion. Mm. And we're now moving out of the third dimensional consciousness, at least the light workers are, at a tremendous rate of speed. And we're moving in through the fourth dimension and into the fifth dimension. So many of the concepts of the third dimensional Christianity are going to fall by the wayside. Mm-hmm. And we as light workers are the ones that are going to help replace them with the fifth dimensional concepts, which is one that we're dealing with tonight. Okay, becoming one with your soul.
I'd like to add that my favorite analogy for God is, not the word God, but love. Love is all there is. And my favorite analogy is that we are all a drop of love in an ocean of love. Mm. And it doesn't matter how many universes there are, there is only love.
And the fish all love us? Oh my. Anything else before we turn it over here?
Carl, this is Pete Wheely talking.
Hi, Pete.
I just got to say that you guys are just the best, man. You just inspire me so much with your love and your wisdom. You're unbelievable.
Well, thank you, Pete.
Hey, Pete, I think you're looking in the mirror, buddy.
Uh-huh. Well, I know about that, man, but I'm just saying.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You.
Yeah, and I'll come on the heels of that and just say how grateful I am for all the wisdom you've imparted to me over the years.
Yeah.
Thank you. Mike, back to you then.
Yeah.
I can just reiterate a little bit of that too. I can attest. This is Linda Heimerman. I don't know if you can see me at all.
Yes.
Oh, hi, Linda. Yeah, I see you there now.
Hi.
It's good seeing you.
My cat on my lap. Okay. And my cat's a testimony for me too, because, just when we're tapping into the subjects of us being our own soul, our love within, I just have to reiterate, that's all I've been feeling and hearing and moving with. And when that movement, when we tap into that, I've been listening to a lot of speakers along, with Carl and those that are moving in the dimensions we're moving to and with, and they're all speaking the same language. And my cat never bothered me before. I mean, didn't bother with any of this. Now, all of a sudden, he's got to be right near me on my lap. Sometimes he'll lay right on top of my computer and listen to the message. The message is coming through, and the tones that they're playing in the background, it's just very spiritual, just watching my cat react to some of these messengers.
Cool.
Lori, I think what the cat's absorbing is the energy that these people are sending out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he's taking it all in.
Yes, that's good. Yeah.
And then he shares it with you because he likes not just be on the keyboard, but also on your lap.
Right. Right. Thank you.
You know, I had a similar experience. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I took my dog, my little Chihuahua, with me to a group meeting, and every single person that spoke, she sat on my lap and stared directly at him and kept turning her head like she was listening and understanding. And we were all just blown away that she was so engaged and listening. You're probably right, Carl. There probably was an element of the energy there, you know, as people were speaking, but it was just phenomenal for me to, I mean, she's done hospice work with me for a long time and seen kids and adults, but I had never seen her quite so engaged from a distance and not like with that person or sitting on them, or she just sat and listened to every person that spoke.
Do you know what that tells me?
What?
You have a new age dog.
I do, and she's a little shit.
Well, you know,
I love her to pieces.
Yeah, of course we do, don't we? But we, when we were teaching minister classes at our home, you know, our dog was there. His name was Oscar, and he actually became the minister training, the what do you call it, the mascot. But when we would do our meditations, the dog was always right in the middle of the meditation, right in the middle of the room, and just lay there and was absorbing everything that was going on. It was just really comical because we all talked about it. Because look at this dog taking in all this energy.
Yep.
Wasn't there all the time, but with the meditation, there he was right in the center.
Yep. My Lexi was the same way. She passed in October at 14 years old. She was a chocolate lab Rottie mix that also had a gift with children, and kids that were afraid of dogs would walk up to her and lay on her and absorb her energy. She was just a remarkable dog, very intuitive and almost human. I mean, well, actually probably much better than a human, but anyway, yeah. Our pets are our guides, aren't they?
Yes.
They are.
Yeah.
Our gifts are
right.
Earth angels.
Okay. And let's all take a deep breath if we could, and let's close our eyes with the Coptic prayer as we close this evening's gathering. So thankful for Carl's wisdom tonight and Orthrun's edition of the Coptic moment, and the energy that we sent towards John with Janice's opening prayer. Much thanks, much love tonight. Heavenly Father, make thy heart thy garden of joy and happiness, thy temple of peace. May the radiant lights of the Spirit illuminate the pathway of our lives, uniting our souls and minds into one thought of love. May the perception of such enlightenment guide us in the fulfillment of our thoughts and desires. May the fragrance of thy presence be ever manifested in all of our lives, with an abundance of peace, peace, and peace.